without actually, further further ado, I would like to actually get into the training. So today we're going to be discussing the art and science of profiting with silhouettes. Now, let me first, though, tell you a little bit why me. Okay, why Alex is actually choosing me and gives me the responsibility of coming here and showing you how to do this stuff. Because he's very protective of everyone, around him, the people he cares about. So why me? First of all, I've been buying and selling silhouettes for the last 2+ years. Okay, I'm not the very first guy in the industry, right? In terms of like, I wasn't the first guy to actually uh, to buy and sell this kind of traffic, but I am considered to be one of the people who brought this industry into the mainstream, if you will, because until very recently it was really underground. Another person is actually responsible for bringing this up to more people. Maybe a name you've heard, John Cornetta. David Eisner also influenced a lot to having silhouettes become a very public a traffic source, but nobody actually educated people on how to on how to buy silhouettes, and that is where most people actually get burned, lose a lot of money, get frustrated, and drop it as a traffic method, even though it is a very good traffic method. And I will explain to you in just a second. Now, over the last 18 months, I've actually purchased over $20,000 worth of silhouettes, and I've been actually burned um, a lot. 5,000 out of those 20 actually gone to waste because I didn't follow my own rules at the time. I didn't know these rules, so you know I learned over time exactly how to determine who to deal with and who not to deal with. But at the same time, even though I know this stuff, right? Still, last month I got burned for 2,700 bucks by a vendor. Okay, so there's still a little possibility of you getting burned, but if you just follow my instructions, I will tell you how to actually minimize that chance so you can actually get all the good traffic without having to get burned by other solo sellers. But we'll get to that in just a minute. Now, over the last 18 months, I also sold over 300,000 worth of solo traffic. Okay, so I know a thing or two about how to deal with vendors simply because I'm one of them. Okay, and actually 80% of silhouette sellers today try to copycat my silhouette business model. If they don't try to copycat it directly from me, they do it, by trying to modeling some of my students. So I know exactly what's going on in the industry, and I can actually walk you in and take you by the hand and tell you what to do and what not to do in order to protect your pocket and to maximize your ROI, which we're also going to be discussing a little bit later in the call. Now, one thing I do want you to know as well that I personally bred over 40 plus full-time silhouette sellers in the last 8 months, ever since I started my coaching program, and that is actually another reason why Alex wanted me to come and teach you guys how to become solo sellers, not just how to buy the traffic, because you can actually make a lot of money by selling traffic to other people who are looking for it, right? And that is a very lucrative business model, no matter if it's like the only thing you do or if you combine it with a different like income stream. Either way, if you're not doing it, chances are you're leaving a lot of money on the table. Now, I've been officially titled Mr. Silhouette, the Silhouette Czar, and there's a page about to be uploaded to the Warrior Forum that will title me Russian Frank Kern. Now, I want you to know that I didn't write that page. That is someone else who writes it. He just uses me as a case study. And I'm saying all this stuff to you guys, not to brag, okay, but to just let you know that when I recommend you do something, that comes from years of experience, okay? Not just because I make this stuff up and because it's theory that everyone else is teaching. So let us get into the what works, no BS, no like just facts, okay? So I'll get into the the basics of silhouettes just in case anyone who's listening like isn't quite aware of what a silhouette is. Okay. Now we will do a break in the middle for Q&A. So if you got questions, just save them up. So what is a silhouette? A silhouette essentially is when a list owner sends out a promotion to the list on your behalf, okay, with your link in the email. So you pretty much just pay the guy to email his list with your offer. Now, in this case, you're going to be mailing the offer that you get reseller rights to, right? So this is what's going to be happening. Now, the vendor usually guarantees a specific amount of unique visitors to be delivered to your page over a specific period of time. So as a rule, this period of time should be anywhere from 24 to 72 hours. And the amount of traffic may vary from, say, 100 clicks to 1,000. I personally sell packages up to 1,000 clicks per email. Now, trustworthy vendors, okay, will always guarantee traffic delivery within a specific time frame or your money back. At least that's how I teach my students to do, to sell solo ads, because I do it myself. If I don't deliver the promised traffic to you in 72 hours, I will always just refund the money unless you insist on me to continue trying and deliver the traffic without refunding it. Now, if the person actually who you buy from does not guarantee the time frame, chances are this person is not, it should not be trusted. Okay, because there's a lot of solo ad sellers out there, scammy ones, who literally put out a bad name for almost every single solo seller in the industry just by scamming a lot of people, by taking their money, not delivering the promised guaranteed amount of traffic. I've been burned by these kind of sellers dozens of times. I just came up with a set of criteria that helps you determine who these guys are. Okay, now in case you would like to have specific names of who not to purchase from, at the end of the call you will get my email address, and you also have access to Alex, so I may forward him my personal solo at Rolodex of people that I choose to do business with and the ones who don't. However, this is only going to be my opinion. Okay, I cannot legally say something like "do not buy from this person." This is only my opinion of people I like to buy from, and the ones who I will never buy from again. So you still need to purchase things, purchase solo ads, and purchase traffic at your own risk. Okay, but I'm trying to give you as many tools today in order to minimize that risk as much as possible. And one more thing that you need to know about solo ads is that it's 100% email traffic. Okay, now if you get some people will try and send you ad flight traffic or pop-up traffic or exit pop traffic. This is not the same thing. Okay, this should be 100% email traffic sent from a person's list to your page, period. Now, why solo ads? Okay, the reason Alex is actually choosing for you guys to learn about what solo ads are and how to use them is because it is very, very easy to use traffic source for especially for beginners, especially if you don't have your own traffic system already set up. The reason for that is because it's affordable, and we're going to discuss pricing in just a few minutes. It's fast delivery, as I said, 24 to 48 hours to 72 hours or so, and you get the traffic you purchased. Now, this means you can actually get up to 3,000 visitors or more in just a couple of days, depending on how many people you buy from at once. I'm sure Alex has been buying a lot, and so I'm guessing he had days when he got like 10,000 target visitors in just a day or two, which is totally possible, of course, depends on your budget and your offers, etc. Now, unlike Google advertising, right, AdWords and stuff, unlike Facebook and unlike Microsoft Ad Center and any other paid traffic source, and even SEO, which is free, you can actually link to anything you want. Okay, literally anything you want. You can actually link your traffic directly to a squeeze page, an internet marketing sales page, whatever. I mean, there are no guidelines unless the person who you buy the advertising from says no, I will not mail this offer for for this or that reason. So there's pretty much, for internet marketing kind of traffic for people who are operating in the make money online niche, this is the perfect kind of traffic to purchase because of its affordability, because of the fast delivery, and because there are simply no rules that are limiting you as a as a you know as a buyer, when you buy advertising. Now, you also may want to know that this kind of traffic is picking up pace and it's working in the Forex niche, in the weight loss niche, in the dating niche, in the personal development niche, and in the health and wellness niche. Okay, so it's not just something that's been invented just for the internet marketing niche. This is actually proven and tested in multiple other industries as well. Now, you get what you pay for. Simply put, if you pay for the 300 clicks to be delivered in 72 hours, as a rule, you will get that. And actually, most honest vendors, people who really care about the customers, they will over deliver. So if you purchase 300 clicks, you will get like 350 or 370 or 330 for the same money. So you actually, get more bang for your buck when this person over delivers. And of course, since Alex has been mentioning from the beginning of the call that it's all about list building just as much as about you making money right away, solo ads are actually perfect for list building because the traffic is conditioned to opt in. There's little resistance to opting in, and so achieving 50% conversion on your squeeze page and more is actually something that is not out of the ordinary. Whereas through other traffic sources, sometimes it's really, really hard to achieve. Now, a few things to know before you actually spend anything. I just wanted to bring this up to your attention. Again, what a lot of this call, a lot of the effort has been made in this presentation to actually protect you from getting burned, because that is a big part of anyone's experience when buying solo ads, especially if you're buying for the first time. And I actually had customers judge me, as a vendor, based on the results and situations they got into with other vendors that scammed them before they purchased from me. So, I would like you to step into this game of buying traffic with the right expectations. So this kind of stuff does not catch you off guard. So as I mentioned before, there are scammy vendors, and they're scamming in a lot of different ways. So some actually don't deliver what they promise. However, there's also other vendors who will abuse their list and mail like the same offer a lot. Although there's plenty of vendors who actually care about the list, but vendors will not actually beware you about the fact that they just emailed the same offer like yesterday. That's the case since you guys will be buying advertising for a very similar kind of offer, right? Because there's other members in the program, so you will be competing in the same niche. You will have to make sure that the vendor actually doesn't mail your offer to the same list if you mailed it like yesterday or something, because your solo ad ROI, return on investment, has a lower chance to be positive. Now, also, a lot of vendors actually have like the big portion of their list to be non-buying traffic, so they actually build the list through like a JV giveaway or AdFly or any other kind of low quality traffic source, and they will resell the traffic at a premium price as if it's a buying traffic, or they will say buyer list included or something, or they will say 80% of my traffic is from United States or something, without actually backing up this with proof. So you should not take every single word for granted when they tell you something. Now, another thing to know is that PayPal will not protect you. And again, I would like to point out that I just got burned for $2,700, and PayPal did not help me out. Okay, and I've been using PayPal for for a whole lot of time. I mean, right now on my PayPal account, there's over 20,000 bucks, and they make huge amounts of commissions just based on my transactions, and still they will not help me to get to resolve this, simply because PayPal do not like cover their buyers with their buyer protection policy if we're talking about a service or a digital product. Now, in this case, solo ads are a service because you pay someone to do something for you. Okay, so PayPal will not protect you. And the good news is, of course, is that all this can be overcome if you just follow a few simple instructions. Okay, so really pay attention as to how to go about purchasing traffic. Now, before you spend a penny, please make sure that your funnel is properly set up. Okay, that all the links work. That is very important. I have a lot of customers who order solo and their links are dead. Okay, good thing I check the links before I mail, but some people don't. They just stick them in and mail, and oftentimes what happens is traffic will go to a dead link, and if that happens, it's actually your fault. Okay, it's not the vendor's fault, it's your fault, and you just burn the money. Now, also make sure that your web form is functioning. So lots of times what will happen is the person will give me a squeeze page, and when I send the traffic, they will return to me and say, did you send yet? I mean, I'm getting no opt-ins. And so what I will do, I will go in and I check the page, I will opt in, and the web form will say something like, the list is not activated. Please contact support. And basically what happened was the person who installed the web form did not do something to actually activate the list, and so again all the traffic is lost, and once again it's not the vendor's fault, it's the customer's fault. Same thing goes for the buy now buttons, to deliver the actual product, to being able accepting payments, etc., and that your tracking is in place as well. Now, I don't know if you guys actually can set up the tracking in terms of the sales tracking and everything else. Okay, very cool. So for now, I would like you to at least use some kind of click tracking, such as buysurl.com, so you can actually make sure that the vendor sends out the ad and the traffic starts flowing in, because we're talking about you purchasing actual visitors. Okay, so the tracking plays a crucial part in the whole success of this process. Now, the crucial thing I would like you to remember is that when you buy the solo ad, okay, your funding source needs to be set to credit card. Now, the reason for that is, as I mentioned, like in the previous slide, that the PayPal will not cover you in case of fraud, right? If you pay with the actual PayPal balance or something. But if you pay through your credit card, so for PayPal to actually pull up the money from your credit card, you can then submit a chargeback to your credit card company if something goes wrong, and PayPal will not dispute it. They will just take the money and give it back to the credit card company, because PayPal they don't play around with chargebacks. They just don't play around. They blame it all on the seller, and you can actually get your money back and set the justice back to the balance it was before by just submitting a chargeback claim, and you will not lose your money. This is something I should have done, but I didn't, and so I'm paying for it with a huge chunk of money just burning. So remember, funding source when ordering your solo should be a credit card. Now, this one is a little heavier. So first of all, before you order, you do some research, right? So you have a list of vendors now, and I will show you in a few minutes where exactly to get that list. Now, you get a list of vendors, and you got a couple of names you want to purchase from. So first thing you do, you got to Google their name plus the term solo ad, and see if they got a solo ad sales page, if they got a word form thread, if they got a page somewhere with reviews, okay? Because oftentimes there's a lot of marketers who blog about the solo ads they purchase, okay, and they will go on and tell about their results with that specific vendor, okay? So they will post both good and bad results, and that helps you make a better decision when when buying from this person. Now, obviously, you want to order from a guy who has more positive reviews than negative ones, right? And one thing I do want to point out is that you should not trust SafeSwaps.com reviews, simply because the rating system is just screwed up there. People just give each other positive feedback because they want to receive positive feedback in return. Pretty much, I mean, it's not being judged by the actual quality of the solo. Okay, so do not trust SafeSwaps.com feedback. Especially, one thing I do see a lot of people, a lot of vendors actually do and try to fool their customers. They try to um, create somehow create some credibility. What they do, they take out a screenshot of their SafeSwaps account, and show you a bunch of thumbs up, yeah, like green thumbs up images from people, and the review will say something like excellent solo, great traffic, cool, great swap, etc. So, the reviews aren't actually telling you anything. These are just from safeswaps.com, where people just exchange reviews all the time. So you want thorough reviews of people actually saying, I ordered 100 clicks, he delivered 115, I had 35 opt-ins and 2 sales. That is a review. Okay, a review saying something like, oh, great solo. I mean, that's just bullshit, I believe. I mean, I personally have over 600 reviews posted on the internet about my silhouettes, because my customer base has been grown fast, and it's over 2,000 customers at this point. And people who leave reviews for me, they step in and they actually say something like, I've purchased 200 clicks from Igor. He delivered 245. I got 50 opt-ins on my squeeze page, which is a normal opt-in rate. I made 3 sales, and I'm satisfied with the results. That is a review. That is a review worth actually checking out. Anything that's not thorough and just great solo, thanks for your solo, etc., it's just not worthy of including your judgment. Of having this helping you making a buying decision. Now, before you order, okay, once you make sure that the vendor is actually cool and you like their reviews, you want to email the vendor before investing into a solo. Okay, some people actually just pay the button on the site without checking. Now, a little tip for you: you can almost always score a discount just by asking for it from a vendor. Okay, that's very important. A lot of vendors, they will try to adjust their pricing to the industry. So, for example, when I raised my prices for my solos, simply because I could no longer supply the demand at the current rates. Okay, actually, it was a month booked up in ahead, and so I had to raise my prices. All of a sudden, I see other major players in this industry raising prices as well. So they do it not because they literally have to, not because it's justified, but because someone else did. So that means that the price is really flexible when it comes to that. And so most of the time, you can actually ask for a discount and get it, okay, just by having a reason. So in your case, when you're buying, you can say something like, you were recommended to me by Igor. Let's just say that's the case. You know what? No, let's not say that. Let's say something like, hey, I'm new to solo ads. I still don't know what to expect. I still know, how my funnel converts. Can you please do me a first-time buyer discount from $60 for 200 clicks to $50 or something? It's just an example. And so most of the time, vendors really want to hook you in and then turn you into a repeat customer, because a big chunk of our business as vendors is repeat business. For example, as Alex mentioned early on the call, he spent several $1,000s with me. I mean, that's cool. I mean, I want to get paid several $1,000s from the same person. It's just so much easier to close the sale when the person already knows and trusts you. And so a lot of the times you will score a discount, okay? Now, another couple of questions you want to ask the vendor before you actually, submit the order. So first of all, did you mail this offer before? If so, when was the last time? Basically, as I said, you guys all have similar offers, and so if you all buy the solo at the same time, chances are that there will be a situation where John Doe mails this offer like on a Sunday, and so you order on a Monday, right? And so there's a chance of hitting the same list that just seen the offer with the offer. So you don't want to buy a solo unless there's at least 2 or 3 week gap between you and the last solo to the same offer. Now, 2. Where can I sign up on your list so I too can receive the email when it goes out? Now, that is a very good question. Most people don't bother asking that, but they should. The reason because you want to make sure you want to control the process as much as possible. And as a customer who actually pays the money for a solo, you deserve to be on that list and receive the email that the person sends out. Especially if we're going to discuss this in the question number 3, but especially if the person uses his own swipe when mailing. Okay. Now, if the vendor actually tries to to make up some stupid reasons why you can't join the list or simply won't let you do it, okay, that is a red flag. Okay, that is a red flag. Now, I actually met a few people who were stupid enough to let me sign up on the list, okay, and see how they scam me. For example, my offer when there was one guy. I don't want to say his name, but he really deserves to be, uh, I think a rocket should hit him when he's in his car or something, because he's a total dick. And so what, like when I ordered a solo from him, I ordered a $600 worth of traffic from him, and I told him, okay, so where can I sign up on your list? And he says, okay, go here. And I say, okay, so check this out. This is my offer. Okay, this is not a free offer. So please, in your swipe, when you write it, which I'm cool with you writing it, right? But I don't want you to promise to them anything for free. Because if you promise them something for free and when they hit the page it's not, then you actually piss off a lot of people. They will never buy, and you will get unsubscribes because of that. He says, okay. Now a week goes by, I don't get my traffic. So he starts coming up with stupid excuses like I was on a plane, I got stuck in the airport, I lost my power, my dog, I had to take my dog to the vet, etc. Okay, I buy that, I eat it up, and I say, okay, so you mail next week? Yes. And so he does mails, he does mail next week, and I read the swipe that he uses. By the way, a swipe is ad copy, so the actual email that he sends out to the list. And so I read the swipe, and the swipe, the title of the email says, download your free gift. And the body of the email says, click here to download your free gift that I arranged for you. I click on the link, and it's my offer. I was pissed off. Okay, I was really pissed off, and I say to him, okay, why the hell are you using free if I specifically asked you not to? It's not a free offer. And he says, oh no, the sign up is free. Like the actual opt-in is free. I don't charge people money to opt into my list. And pretty much, this guy just ruins his own reputation. I made sure everyone in my surroundings knew who he was, and he actually stopped selling solos in about a month from that point because nobody was buying from him anymore. He actually tried selling from his girlfriend's Skype account, but we quickly actually found out about it. So sign up on the list helps prevent fraud. Just by the vendor knowing that you're on the list, basically allows you to breathe a little bit, because he will know that you also received that email, unless of course he puts you on some kind of special list or something, but that is like super duper scammers. Now number 3 is you want to discuss what's the swipe that's going to be used. So some vendors will take your swipe, and they're really cool with that because they're lazy. They just don't want to write their own swipe. Plus, they don't really know how to do so. A lot of vendors aren't really extraordinary marketers, like Alex, for example. A lot of them are really just they started like a couple of months ago and they just figured out Silhouette, etc. So they will use your swipe. However, some people won't. For example, I'm the kind of vendor where I will use my own swipe because I simply believe, well, I get the swipes that my customers send me, and most of them crap for many reasons. So I tell people up front that when you order, you agree for me to send out my swipe. And of course, if you want to sign up on my list, you can do so. Now, you also want to double check what's the estimated delivery time frame. Okay, so you actually say something like, if I order X amount of clicks, how soon will the traffic be delivered? Also, make sure to find out the send out date before the order is submitted. So before you actually send the money over, make sure to ask the vendor, okay, so if I pay today, when can you send? Because sometimes, most of the times it won't happen the same day. Okay, if the solo vendor is a good trustworthy vendor, you will have to wait a couple of days or maybe a week before he can send the ad out. And if the person actually has a couple of rules and he doesn't do solo ad selling full time and he only does like 4 of them per month, then obviously you will have to wait even more. So just before you order, make sure you find out what the date is and what is the delivery time frame, and also make sure to ask the person what happens if they fail to meet that deadline. Okay, if they fail to deliver the clicks in the agreed time frame. So, I mean, the reason you're asking that, I mean, the reason I'm telling you to ask that is because, as a vendor, I know that sometimes stuff happens and, people miss deadlines. It's okay. Personally, I never missed a deadline last 15 months, but for most vendors, it's different. A lot of people miss deadlines even though they are legit. So, if they're legit, they will either apologize and tell you like why that happened, then when they will resend, or they will guarantee, and if they fail to deliver, they will refund your money back. Now, if the vendor, yeah. Well, definitely yes, but you can always come to some kind of a compromise. You can ask the person, okay, can you show me the swipe before you mail? Like, can you write a swipe right now to this offer that you're going to be using, etc. So you can always like, if the seller, again, if the seller is legit, okay, and a lot of them are. I know that I've been spending a lot of time like today having this presentation just based on how not to get scammed with and how to succeed with solo ads. But trust me, it's just like it's half the battle. Not getting scammed is half the battle in succeeding with the solo. Um, so if the vendor actually starts acting funny about answering any of these questions, beware. Okay, seriously, beware. Unless the vendor has an overwhelming amount of positive feedback, such as myself, then you should actually be aware of this person. Now, again, I would like to apologize if I make this all sound too scary. It's just I would like you to know all this stuff before you spend a penny, so you don't get. It's like you may consider this as educating a kid about sexual diseases before he has his first intercourse with a girl. So it's the kind of the same thing. We don't want you to get hurt. We don't want you to lose money. We want you to profit, and that is why we're educating you about like the bits and pieces and the little things about buying. So the kind of stuff that most people just don't talk about ever. Okay. Now, part 3 of the before you spend a penny saga is my personal recommendation is to buy in small chunks, okay, up to 300 to 500 clicks at a time. Now, I know Alex buys like in big chunks, but he also can afford to actually test and lose some money on the test, etc. Now, you're getting started, you're not as a big of a marketing powerhouse as Alex is, so I recommend sticking to smaller orders. I mean, I personally myself never order more than 300 to 500 bucks. The last time I ordered more, I got burned. Again, back to the $2,700 story. Okay, so this is my recommendation to you. Now, very first buy from a vendor, no matter how trustworthy the vendor is, should not be more than 200 clicks. Simply because you want to test out his list and how the list reacts to the traffic, to the offer that you present in front of it, because not all lists are actually made equal. Some people have lists that will react better to your specific offer, the others won't. But it doesn't mean that the vendor is scammy or whether his traffic is good or bad. It's just with this specific offer, the traffic not convert really well. Okay. Now, I recommend. Alex mentioned that he sends a lot of traffic to the sales page directly, but with solo ads, I recommend sending your traffic to a squeeze page first, and when they opt into your list, whether you do have a free gift or not, then send them to a sales page and try to upsell them with your product. Now, that is because if you don't do it, you will lose some follow-up cash. Basically, on the follow-up, you can make more money. And I'm gonna share with you exactly how in a couple of minutes. And so one more thing that I want you to know is that when you submit the order, okay, that goes back to the tracking part. When you submit it, forward the vendor a cloaked tracking link. Okay, so when he sends the traffic, you can actually confirm that. Or in a, in a different case, when he doesn't send, you can actually see that he didn't send, even though he may say he did. Now, again, if you follow these principles, you're minimizing the chances of being burned. At the same time, you're maximizing your chances of hitting only the good vendors, only the trustworthy vendors that actually deliver traffic that will result in a lot of opt-ins and cash for you. So now, after we've gone through some a lot of content, a lot of guidelines, in order not to overwhelm you too much, I suggest we do a Q&A break. So if you got any questions, I'd love to actually answer them for you. Well, to be honest, at first, right now, because of my coaching program has been up for about 8 months now, we have a mastermind of our own. And so today, any member who actually wants to purchase some traffic, he can go back into the mastermind and say, oh, hey guys, I see this guy's advertising that he's got traffic. Did anyone buy from him? And if someone got burned by this guy, people will know now, because this person will stand up and say, oh yeah, I bought from this guy, don't buy from him. Or in other, on a different case, they will actually stand up and say, oh yeah, I bought from him, he delivered, I actually made a couple of sales, I mean, you should buy from him, etc. So before they buy, I encourage them to actually check into the mastermind and see if there's like anyone who out of their friend space who purchased. Now, I also personally, when I purchase from people, especially if I don't know them, I will go on and I will check out their solo page. And by the way the solo page is designed, I can actually tell how, like, whether the seller is legit or not. By the way that the page is structured. Okay, a lot of people, again, as I said, some people put up safeswaps.com feedback ratios. I mean, these don't give me anything. Other people put up some testimonials, and if the testimonial actually has no photo and the name on the testimonial is not someone I know in the industry, basically, in other words, saying, if the name is just not a recognizable name, not familiar name to me, because I mean, if someone buys a solo, if someone is out there buying solo ads, chances are I know the person, because a lot of these people come through me first, because I'm actually recommended almost anywhere where the word solo ad is mentioned. And if I can see names from people who are just don't make sense to me, and no photos, no signature, no real detailed results about the solo, like I said, great solo, fantastic over delivery, or something like that, I don't trust these reviews. Now, also based on the price tag, you can tell if the person is new or not, because the person is very, very new. You will see that the price tag for his solos will be lower. And one big tip for you guys, I fell for this twice in my life. Basically, if the price seems too good to be true, chances are it is. Plain and simple. Okay? Because there's a couple of vendors out there, they are scammers, and they try to give you like super affordable price. For example, $100 for 500 clicks, 20 cents per click. I mean, that's ridiculous. If the price tag is less than 30 cents per click, chances are something ain't right, or the person is so new and their marketing is so bad that just don't feel as if they can charge more for their traffic. Okay? And yeah, and also a person who sells solo ads should have on their solo ad page contact information, so you can add them on Skype or send them an email, etc. Also, notice when you send them an email just how fast they reply. Notice just how they handle their customers, because I personally love it when the person who I deal with is quick to respond to emails and professional in the way to handle themselves. If I ask them a question, for them to actually have an answer that makes sense, and it's written in a way that is supposed to be written. In other words, they don't write to me like a gangster or something, with spelling mistakes and stuff. So yeah, so again, and a lot of this has to do with actually checking out reviews that people get, and the best places for that I will show you in a few minutes. In terms of cost per click, personally, I don't pay more than 40 cents per click. But there's a reason to it because first of all, I'm a big player in the industry, so people discount me just to do good with me, right? But I'd say anything that is more than 50 cents per click, as a rule, not justified, unless the person really has a huge demand and they just have to raise prices. For example, today I charge 75 cents per click, but I would probably never pay 75 cents per click to any other vendor just because I know vendors personally, and those who charge even 75, I know they can discount, right? Because that's the nature of the game, and that is why I told you that before you order, try to get a discount. As early you will get it. Okay? Sure. So now we're getting to the juicy part, where exactly where and how to buy. So the first place I recommend going to and buying from is actually not the third one on this list, right? But I will start, from the first one, which is the Warrior Forum classified ads section. So all you got to do is just go to the warriorforum.com. If you're not a member yet, register to be a free member. And second from the top, there's a Warrior Special Offers forum, and right underneath that, there's Warrior Forum Classified Ads. And this is the place where all solo ad sellers basically go and advertise their services. Now, you can also just run a search on the whole forum for the keyword solo ad, and you will find a lot of threads, just advertising their services. Again, I'd like to point out that you may get burned on this one because a lot of people just use this section to their advantage. However, the fact that these people actually pay $20 to post the ad immediately kind of just helps you determine that, in other words, immediately allows us as customers to weed out the bad ones, because as a rule, someone who's really just a scammer will not pay $20 to post an ad. Also, by the way the ad is structured, you should judge the quality of the person. Okay, by the way he talks about his list, by the way he proves that that he's legit, etc. For example, one of my threads, and I have a couple of them, I actually show proof of earning from a list. Just showing that this list doesn't just opt in; it actually buys as well. That is for my buyer-only solo ads thread. In my regular solo ad thread, where as I said, I got over 600 reviews posted by Warrior Forum members. I actually have like a gazillion testimonials you can go through right at the top, just to make sure you understand that I'm legit. Okay, so the more effort that it's being made by the vendor to show that he is legit by posting testimonials and other methods of proof that his list is good and that he actually delivers, the better for you. So if you see a thread where there's like 10 replies or something like that, and all of them are saying like PM me your pricing, then I would not recommend purchasing. Actually, legit solo vendors will actually post their pricing on the thread. They will not force you to PM, to private message themselves in order to find out more about their solo ads. However, at the same time, when I say this, I have one thread where I do have the pricing posted, and the other one where I don't. But that is simply because the thread where I don't have the pricing posted is actually much more expensive than the regular acceptable cost per click, and I just choose to have to share it with the people who are really interested. But I do make a huge effort in order to prove to people up front that that the list is legit, and that I know, so they know who I am and they know I can be trusted. And I will show you an example of what I mean in just a minute on the next page. Now, the second place to go to, or should I say not to go to, is the safeswaps.com. Now, the advantage over Warrior Forum is that you can find cheaper traffic, literally 30 cents per click. However, their rating system is screwed up, as I mentioned before. So, as a result, when I was a member, I used to get lower quality solo ads from SafeSwaps, as a rule. Now, my personal favorite, okay, is secret Skype communities, and I have about three of them right now of my own. There's until the last time I checked it, I think there's 12 of them. And Alex has set up was kind enough to set up, a special community just for you guys, where we'll be adding people, the vendors who you can trust to get started with. Okay, only the guys who we know for a fact that are legit, and whatever they do is something we believe in, and we know they will never dare to scam you in any way. Okay, now the last but not least is Reed Florence Solo Directory, and you can actually just Google that term, Reed Florence Solo Directory. And in other words, it's a big blog by the guy named Reed Florin, who used to buy a lot of solo ads last year. And it's a little bit outdated, but you can still go in and check a lot of names. Okay, you can also find links to the vendors' pages, and based on beside each name, you can actually check out the specific thread, the specific blog post of where Reed purchased solo from this person. And he will share the amount of money spent, the amount of traffic delivered, and the results he got from the ad. Also, anyone else who bought from the person can actually go in and post a comment, because it's a blog. And so, for example, right now on my page on his blog, there's 30 comments. So it's not just him, it's other people too who came and posted, some good, some bad. Actually didn't know that until like a month ago, but there were 2 bad comments on that page. So it's really objective, and not subjective, but really people just telling the truth about what's happening with them, and another good place for you to check out. Now, here's what I wanted to show you. Now, I pointed out 2 threads that seem legit to me, and I know they are, because I know the people personally, and at the same time one that doesn't. So if you check out at the top where it says Dr. Bruce's solo ads, 50 to 200 clicks, December 2012, book now, guaranteed delivery. Okay, so first of all, what gives me an indication that it is legit, that the guy has 138 comments and 13,177 views on his thread. Now, another thing that he says is that guaranteed delivery, which means that if he doesn't deliver, you get your money back. Now, at the bottom, you can see quality solo ads. Some of the biggest names in the industry buy from me by Jeffrey Baxter. Now, I happen to know the guy and happen to buy from him too. But again, you can check out that he's got 24 replies and 2,468 views, and his the icon on the left side of his thread is actually burning, which means it's really hot. Now, if you can just look at the very bottom of the page, you can see solo ads available now, high quality, low price rates, slots going fast by Rash M, and he got 3 replies and 213 views. Now, the reason I don't really like what I see is, first of all, the guy says immediately high quality and low priced. Okay, that is that is unlikely to happen. If the price is low, the quality is low as well. And and he's got very few comments or views on his thread yet for me to actually go in and check it out. And so these kind of examples, they are all over the place. For example, at the top, above Dr. Bruce's solo, you can also see Paul Kosa's solo ads. I mean, this is also not something that generates a lot of trust right now, simply because, it doesn't say a lot in the headline, So if I were to be browsing the forum, I would probably click on Dr. Bruce's ad and on Jeffrey's rather than on these two. At the same time, this doesn't mean that these guys are scammers, right? It just gives you immediate indication who are the first people for you to deal with. Now, Philip asked about the average cost per click. So the average price is ranging from 30 cents cost per click to 75 cents cost per click, and I admit that 75 is me. I'm actually one of the highest in this community, simply because of the demand. Okay. Now, as a rule, higher price will mean higher quality, but there's also plenty of underpriced solo ads that are, they're pretty good, right? So don't jump on the most expensive one right away. Try to find something in the range of 30-40 cents per click. Now, I've been talking about ROI early on the call, And ROI is actually the amount of money you spend, divided by the amount of money you earn. So if I spend $100 on a solo and I made 50, right, my ROI is actually only 50%. So I want you to strive to get at least 50% ROI on your promotions, and that is, I mean, upfront ROI. And if you got that, you can you can go back and do some more advertising with that vendor. If you didn't get that, I don't think you should go back. I think you should look for a different vendor to work with. Now, the reason I also mentioned that you want to go with a squeeze page first, so you can actually have some follow-up cash as well, because on the follow-up, first of all, you can actually go on and keep promoting the product, right? The instant, the product that Alex gives you the resale rights to, right? And because a lot of people they don't buy on the very first encounter, they will buy on the seventh time or something like that. So if you aren't following up with them, you're actually losing money. Now, eventually, if they don't buy that, you can also make money by promoting 100% commission products and you can find plenty of those on jvzoo.com and warriorplus.com. And you can also promote pay-per-lead programs, which you can find where you get paid per lead referred. Basically, you get paid per opt-in, not per sale. So if you send like 2 visitors to a page, and one of them opts in, you made like 50 cents or a buck, depending on that specific program. And right now, as far as I can remember, there's at least 3 or 4 programs like that you can promote. Now, when the customer doesn't buy your product right away, again, in your email follow-up sequence, there's something that most people don't actually do, but I would like you to know that at least, and if possible, do it. You can share your personal contact information and encourage people to actually connect with you on Skype or email and talk to you. Because a lot of people, they are frustrated with the fact that this industry is mostly email-based, and there's very little real connection. And I know that because I speak to a lot of my customers on the phone, a lot of my coaching clients on the phone. And so if you can actually get the people who are in your funnel on the phone with you and talk to them about your product, you will be able to, actually, if the person stood up and said, yeah, I want to talk to you, you have a very high chance of closing the sale and making more money on that promotion. Right? I know that the internet is so attractive because of the fact that we can actually make a lot of money without picking up the phone, without doing anything, without lifting a finger, and for the technology to do everything for us. But trust me, if you do that, you will stand up and so much more sales will be in your pocket just because you are a real person and people buy from real people. No matter how good of a sales pitch there is on the web page. Plain and simple. It's just, I mean, you can use this to your advantage and make more money.